I use my iPad as a creation device 95% of the time, and I'm often looking for images. The fastest and easiest way I've discovered to do that is with the app Image Search. Now what you have is a way to search Google or Bing for images quickly and easily. So you go to the search bar. Let's say we're looking for Christmas trees. And it actually fills it in for us. Then it searches, and look at all these Christmas tree images. The size of the image is also listed underneath it, which is awesome. If it's a huge one, it's going to take a lot longer to load. So then if you tap the image, a bunch of choices come up at the bottom. You can go back and search again. You can email this image or save the image, or you can actually have a slideshow play of all the images that are available. So then you can kind of make your choice that way. And you can look at all the images that it's bringing up, which is actually a kind of a nice option. That's cool. So if you save it, it saves it to the camera reel. You can also manually advance through all the images if you want. Forward and back. Or you can actually go to Safari or use the built-in browser. I love this app. You can use the star, to set filters if you want to set things that are only the size of iPad landscape, iPad portrait, an exact size you may be looking for, large ones, medium ones. You can also set it so that every time you exit out of the app, the results are cleared. So depending on what you're searching for, maybe you don't want anybody to know what you're searching for. I really like this app. It has made my image search a lot faster actually than it is through Safari, which is actually opening Safari, typing in Google. It's more steps. This is immediate and it gives me just what I'm looking for. And it was free. So it was free when I got it. So check it out. It's called Image Search and it's in the App Store. Moodboard is one of my favorite creation devices on my iPad. It allows you to make gorgeous PDF documents that you can print out directly from your iPad if you have AirPrint, or you can email to yourself as a PDF and then print out that way. So what you do is you can create collections of documents, which is what I have started doing. I usually use these as extras on my homespotgoddess.com website as little extra gifts, and they're usually about a spa experience. So for instance, my most recent one is a series of winter traditions spa experiences using the Winter Traditions line from Bath & Body Works. So you are able to import photos, you can change the text, you can rearrange, I guess I shouldn't say rearrange, but resize images, you can put a little tilt on them and make a document that looks gorgeous and that you can export as an image, not as a PDF as I said, but then it can be exported as an image in your email. You can post it to Facebook, Twitter, save it to iTunes for some reason, or email to somebody. So right here, most of my layers are locked. Actually, a lot of them are, and then some of them aren't. So the ones that are locked, you can't move. The ones that aren't have a little unlock there. You can also change where things are layered within a document, as you can see, in case you want to put something on top of something else. So if it's not locked, you can move it around like this and place it where you want. If it is locked, you can't. So as you can see, like this has been placed on top of that. If I go back into layers, I can move that beneath that image. As you can see, it is now beneath that image. Now once you touch something and move it though, it comes back on top, unfortunately. So we can get that underneath if we want. Again, so that's how images are manipulated. If you want to type or add some text, you go into the little briefcase here. You can add text. A little font window comes up. You can choose the size, you can choose the placement, left justified, right justified, or centered. You can choose from a series of fonts. You can choose the font color if you want. You can bring back up the keyboard. When you're done, just press done, the keyboard disappears. To get pictures, you can get pictures from your albums if you would like. And what I would usually do is get images, make an album of all the images I want, and then come into here to create my document. So everything is right where I want it. I can easily grab images that I need. Now you can also look for images or web clips in Safari or Google. I think Google's the default actually. Unfortunately, instead of just being able to search for an item by name, or you have to have the exact web address. So instead of being able to search for images through Google Images, I have to type in google.com using the HTTP, the entire web address first to make Google come up. That was kind of annoying with this. Google or Safari really needs to be the default or a choice. Then you can type the name of what you want. And then there's a little crop tool and it allows you to crop images, and then you can add them to your document. Here's the print button down here. The choices are creating a different background. So there's a bunch of built-in backgrounds. So these are automatic backgrounds, or you can just have it be white. I always had to make custom color be white. Slide this over and then slide it back to get a white custom background, which is what I use most of the time. But of course, that depends on you. You can always go back out to your other creations. Now you can create a collection. Like I said, I've got my Citrus Petty ones. Here's another example of one that I've created. And I have the graphics here and then other items that relate to it. And then I have all of the text that's necessary. To create a new mood board, you just click the plus button and then, create your background and get to work. I love this app. It's a little pricey, but it's worth it. The one thing that I usually never seem to end up using anymore, I think I've only used once, is this. See this right here? Which I think I have locked. It is a palette. So I just unlocked it. And it's a little palette of colors that corresponds to everything on here. In your little toolbox, you can choose to make a palette. And you can add as many boxes to the palette as you want. And then you pick a section, or you could actually pick off the page with the magnifying glass. So then I could pick that green to be in the palette. And then if I'm done, then I can have that as a color type of thing. And you can also trash it if you don't want it. Also here in the tool chest are other little things that you can add. Little pieces of tape, push pins. Look how cute is that? And then you can, of course, make that bigger or smaller. So it looks like you use that to put things up on your board. So that's up to you if you want to use push pins. Again, you can get rid of it really easily. Love Moodboard if you are into making these types of documents. You need it for, I almost said graphic design, but I guess you could use it for that. What I meant to say was interior design, if you're coordinating colors for a party or a wedding or whatever. This is a great, great tool. One of the best creation devices for the iPad that's out there. It's Moodboard, and you can get it in the App Store. I have 2 WordPress blogs so far, and when I heard about WordPress for the iPad, iPhone, and iPod Touch, I was really interested. I said, let me try that out. I am really impressed with this. I use it on a regular basis. If you have a WordPress blog, I highly recommend you give it a try. I have self-hosted WordPress blogs. So honestly, I don't know how this works on WordPress.com. I use it with my self-hosted WordPress blogs, but I'm sure it works great. My App Goddess blog, here's all my posts. And you can make a draft of a post. You can edit a a post that's already up on your blog. I mainly use it on my iPad to post pictures that I've taken with my iPod Touch. I have photo streams set up on this device. So I'll post pictures this way without having to transfer them to my computer. I also use this to post screenshots of my iPad wallpaper from this device, and I post pictures of my iPod Touch wallpapers from that device. So I have used this on my iPod Touch as well as on my iPad. Love it. So to create a post, you just go to the creation mode. You can write the title of the post if you want. Well, of course you are. You can create tags, and you can actually use categories that you have already set up on your blog post, which is nice. You can even make a new category on your device, which is really cool. So we're just going to write test, and you can tag it. And if it's a tag that you use often, it'll come up. And you can add more than one tag, of course. So I'm just going to add 3, for example. Now, of course, you can start typing. What I actually usually end up doing, though, is adding a photograph. So we'll just pick a pic. Now, you do need to pick the size, and depending on your layout for your blog, you might have to test run this. So you need to wait till it loads all the way. You can check it. And you can decide if you want it above or below the content. And then you can publish it. And then it'll be posted. You do need to put the centered HTML code in here if you want it centered. Then you can choose whether you want it published immediately. You can actually make it a draft if you want, which I also thought was really, really cool. You can go back and edit previous posts. You can refresh, maybe if you have your blog set to post automatically, and see what the latest posts are. It'll say if it's a draft right down next to it. And you can have more than one blog. As you can see, I've got my Homespot Goddess blog as well as my App Goddess blog. This works just as great on the iPod Touch and the iPhone. I think it's a great addition. It's free, so if you got a WordPress blog, I highly recommend you give it a try and see if you like it. Whether you're posting pictures or maybe you're just doing short blog updates, I think you'll find it a valuable addition to your creation apps on your iPad. Comic Life is one of my favorite Mac applications. It makes creation of gorgeous comics or even instructional manuals, short stories, easy and gorgeous. Finally, they have an app for the iPad, and it works just as well. Some of the controls are a little different, so it takes a while to get used to it. There is a learning curve, but it does work fabulously. What I use it for is for special little extras for another website of mine. I use it to make little handouts, if you will, on spa experiences. What I do is I find all the images that I'm going to use first, and then I create a little handout. It can have more than one page. So this happens to be one for a pedicure experience that I created. And of course, it's a comic book style that looks fantastic. So what I've created has a little comic book lettering. It's got the images there. I have a supply list here. And all the steps you would need to create this pedicure experience for yourself. And I was able to do it all using Comic Life. So you can have a collection of all your different comics here. You can keep them in trays. You can, this is a tray of all my comics. So you can have different trays. You can also send other people some of your comics if they also have this Comic Life app. You can start a new comic, blank background. There are some templates that you can alter yourself. So these are all the choices. So let's do this one. And if you know Comic Life for the Mac, you're already ahead of the curve. You add your pictures, same way you've always added all your pictures. You can also add lettering, add words, and then every little item Also has many ways for you to finesse it and to change it. So you can change pages in the layout, in your template, and you can really make it your own. And there's a bunch of different ones to choose. When you are working within your pictures, there's also ways to replace the pictures easily, and here we go, what I'm looking for. You could change the style. You could have it be pixelated. Not pixelated, but that's kind of more overexposed. You can make it black and white, a cartoony looking. So there's lots of things you can do with your pictures. You can move from back to front. The same goes for your fonts. If you're looking for different fonts, underline the size, you can change the color. You can actually change the font for your creation. So all the same stuff you could do in regular Comic Life, you can do here. The problem, like I said, is there's a different way to do it. So there is a learning curve. But if you want to be able to actually get some work done on your iOS device, and you do use Comic Life, you will like this. Do the things transfer? No, they do not. So you can't open these documents in your regular Comic Life. But if you're used to creating Comic Life documents and you have an iPad, I think you will find this a valuable addition to your creation app arsenal on your iPad. So it's a little pricey. My last check, it was $6.99. But if creating documents like this is something that you do, it is well worth it.